So when they surveyed both Australia and Great Britain in Tokyo, Australia found that mental health symptoms were at a similar level to the athletes amongst their coaches. However, the difference was the coaches weren't able to actually go to anyone and identify that with anyone within the federation because it would impact their future employability. They didn't want to tell anyone because you can't get another job if you go and say, I'm struggling mentally. And then similarly with Britain, coaches arrived at the Olympics exhausted and with low mood. So we know how much coaches impact their athletes' ability to perform, and we're having our athletes arrive in tip-top condition and our coaches arrive at the Olympics before they've even participated, exhausted. It's at all levels. 6,000 NCAA coaches across all three divisions responded to this survey from the NCAA. It's their own work. 40% of head coaches identified themselves as mentally exhausted every or every other day. So let's just call it every day. 34% had sleep difficulties. The actual raw numbers of these are in the thousands. The 40% is about 2,700 head coaches. So you can put it on a percentage, but when you say 2,700 individuals, human beings, went to the NCAA and said, I feel exhausted every day, there's got to be a red flag there in terms of how we're showing up. Those people are going to be unable to help their athletes to their absolute optimum. And that's what we want to happen. We don't want to show up here and learn all of this new stuff from the greats of the game, from Gardner and from Barry, and then go back and not be able to implement it at its best because you can't show up because you're exhausted. So we need to build a better system because the system is telling us that this isn't working. We're talking about the greats of most sports walking away with burnout. We're talking about 35-year-olds talking about being burnt out. So we need to build a better system. We need to turn the mirror around on ourselves and say, how can we think of ourselves as performers too? And ultimately, here's the reason why. Because you're not fooling anyone. You think that you're hiding it well. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not. They've studied it and you're not. When you arrive exhausted, when you arrive with low mood, your athletes pick up on the changes in the tone of your voice. They pick up that you're pacing. They pick up that your hair is ruffled because you slept at the facility instead of going home to your kids. Or that you look agitated, or that you're more agitated or less connective. They know it. And anyone who has kids will know exactly what we're talking about. Anyone who has a dog knows exactly what we're talking about. They know. You think you're hiding it, and they know. And then even worse, we think we're doing them a service and that we're being great coaches, and our athletes, the second point here should be really cutting, perceive their coaches, the coaches that are stressed, as less effective and less competent. They know and they think worse of you. So we've got to build a better system for ourselves. And then the thing to understand about burnout is every time they study it in any industry, it's not more time off. It's the first go-to for everyone. Just, you know what, don't go to TCS Live this year. Go straight to Muskoka, be at the cottage, have an extra week off, and then come back refreshed. That's not how it works. Unless the system changes, unless the organisation changes, the burnout comes back within a month. So you haven't even made it out of pre-season yet, and it's back. But there is a better way, and the best thing about this is that we're experts in human performance. We actually know all of the things that we need to do. We just need to start doing them.